Hello there, lovely folks of YouTube. Bren here. It's been a little bit. I think honestly I'm probably going to keep to this Sabbath schedule that I've had. But this is new things. Happy Lunasa or Lammas, whichever you celebrate, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and happy Imbolc for those of you in the South. You may notice my background is different. This is because this is the first video at my new house, where my new garden will be. There's not much of a garden now. It is too hot to do any gardening. So although we moved into the house almost a month ago, I haven't done much other than just cleaning up some stuff in the yard. So mostly this video is going to be talking about what will be coming in the future. Keep in mind that my last house, I started making the videos right around year 16 or so of my garden. So you saw like years 16 to 20. We're starting with this one at year 0. So it's going to be a little different. Everything about this is a little different. Like the terrain is different, the soil is different, the amount of shade that I have is different. So a little exciting. So might be a longer video. I don't know. We'll find out. I won't know until I get to the end, but buckle up, here we go. So I'm actually going to start with this bed right here, which is right next to sort of like the southeast side of the house, and mostly full of weeds right now. I have transplanted a few things out here. You can see my mandrakes are here, and they're really enjoying all this rain and the new climate because they've popped out of dormancy and they're starting to pop up again, which is exciting because usually this time of year at the old house it's so hot and dry that they wouldn't even bother to show up. But my mandrakes are liking their new home apparently. So there's some like garden stakes that have been left by the previous owner. I haven't done a whole lot, honestly. Like I said, it's been too hot, but I did transplant my mugwort, so mugwort is here. Mandrakes are here. And then I have a little bit back behind this azalea, next to this cowslip. I have a little bit of agrimony that I put in here. Those are like some of the biggest plants that I use for like magical workings. So I wanted to make sure. And also the mugwort was in a bed at my old house that my son was planning on getting rid of because the dogs kept digging in it anyway. So I said, well, why don't I just do that? Let's look at the yard here. Look, first off, this lovely little arch. We put the lanterns on that. That's really nice at nighttime. And look, it just goes, look at how much space. So obviously I need to plant something on this arch. My plan is to get some maypops, which is Passiflora incarnata, native passion fruit. That will grow over this arch. I have a few plants in here. You can see there's some hellebores from the previous owner. These are white blooming hellebores. There's more of the primula, the cowslips in here, which don't look really great at this time of year. I don't know. There are a couple of hostas, very, very sad looking hostas. As you can tell, we have deer. We have deer that come, and hostas are not necessarily the best thing when you have deer. Let's go into the actual lawn itself. It's not really a lawn, it's a green space. You know, I don't do grass, you know that. There is a lot of lily of the valley here, which it is invasive. But at least in this area, it's somewhat contained, you know, with the driveway and everything like that. So I am probably going to dig a lot of this out. I'm going to leave some of it just because I have a soft spot for lily of the valley. But I'd like to put other plants in this space and not have it just be a giant 20-foot bed of lily of the valley. So there are a few azaleas that they've left behind. This one's not looking as bad. Some of them have been getting a little nibbled by the deer. But this area here is the area that I'm most excited about. This is where I've been doing all my work. This is going to be my new area for group ritual outside. So there used to be a swing set here, like a really old wooden swing set, which is now the path that goes out into my woods. That's where the pieces of the swing set are now. So that thing was honestly, it was dangerous, and it was what is the legal term? Attractive nuisance. It was an attractive nuisance. Like any kid that tried to play on that would definitely get hurt. So you can see there's a lot of things, little popping things popping up. Lots of little pine trees, some junipers. I have so many junipers. I say junipers, but it's because that's their genus name. This is the eastern red cedar, which is a juniperus genus. I can't remember the specific species name, but there's a lot of these, including like 3 of them in the area of my ritual space that I have to clear out. I will probably dig these up and move them back over there, because you can kind of see my neighbor's fence is over there. You can see my neighbor's house on this side. And I want to get just some more screening plants to hide that, especially around this ritual area. I want this to feel more secluded in here. So it's going to take a while, but this is also a little space that I like under here. This is a hemlock. The native evergreen hemlock, not like the European poison hemlock. It's a really cool looking tree. I have several hemlocks in the yard too. You can see there's another one back there as well. But this is just a nice little hidey hole under there. I'm definitely going to put a shrine of some sort under there. And I am hoping, here you can actually see, I have transplanted a few little clumps of moss into this area that seem to be doing well. So I'm hoping that like the moss that I have here will eventually spread and cover this area in here. We are not going to go back into the woods today because I did not put on bug spray and I am not dressed appropriately. But we will talk about it. So you can see there's more garden bed here. Just a few shrubs, honestly. They didn't, I think that, so the previous owner, she was a gardener, definitely. There's so many garden things in the shed, and the yard was mostly well maintained. Like, I can tell there was a structure to the yard, but there's no real plants left in the yard, which I think is because she was elderly and wasn't able to care for the yard in her final years. She passed away and her family sold the house, which is how we got it. But because she wasn't really maintaining it, they probably had a landscaping service come in, and landscaping service, basically, if it's not a shrub, it's a weed. So they killed everything. So there's a few shrubs, but really nothing else. I have transplanted, you can see here, this is one that I've put in. Which is my golden ragwort, the Pachyra aurea. That's a really nice native ground cover that I'm hoping will start spreading into this area. There's a lot more of it over here because you see that big sea of green that's over there? Most of that is Japanese stilt grass. I mean, look at it, it just goes all the way through the trees. This is the largest of like 5 different patches of stilt grass that were in the yard. There were like 2 or 3 patches over in that area by the ritual area that I've mostly dealt with already, either by hand pulling or, I'm sorry to say it, spraying it, because there's just too much of it for me to hand pull it, and it's out of control. I need to buy more stuff to spray it with, honestly, and it sucks. It sucks. I try not to use any herbicides or insecticides or anything like that, but there's just too much of this shit. It's super invasive. It's choking out all the native growth. There are some ferns back in there. They're lovely. They're lovely. They are struggling because they're getting drowned out by the stilt grass. Because the stilt grass, literally, like, it's called that because it basically makes stilts and grows over the top of everything, and smothers it. So if I can get it killed off, mostly killed off this year before it set seed, then I'll only have to then each successive year, the infestation will get smaller and smaller until I exhaust the seed bank in hopefully 5 to 7 years. So this is going to be like a decade-long project, just to get it under control. And I'm never actually going to get rid of it because my neighbor off to the north has a shit ton of it lining their driveway, and it's not on my property, so I can't do anything about it. So, but yeah, that's my biggest project right now, is actually getting this under control. There are a couple things out here. You can see some of these like tree looking things. A couple of them are Tree of Heaven. And you can see that one that's like dying is the one that I treated. There's another one there that didn't quite die that I'm going to have to go out and tree again. But the rest of the stuff in there is not Tree of Heaven, although it looks similar. That is actually Aurelia spinosa, which is called Devil's Walking Stick. It is a really interesting native plant. It grows opportunistically in areas like clearings in the woods, which you can see like there's a very large dead snag there. So it's taking that opportunity to grow in the area of that snag. A little harder to see from this distance, but we might see some more as we come around to the front because there's more over there. Makes these really, really cool flowers on the top. Those flowers eventually will turn into these nice big black berries that the birds love, and it's really pretty actually. So, this whole area along the edge of the woods here, I'm planning on filling in with shrubs of some sort. I haven't decided yet. Just to give kind of a little bit of a screening around this yard area. This area here is where we're getting interesting. So they have this little tiny little fence area. There is a clothesline here. This is like the worst possible site for a clothesline right now because it is full shade and there's a tree growing into it. So this obviously needs to go, which will be interesting because I'm going to have to dig out that concrete, but that is a future project. But we do have this little area here. Now you can see we've had storms lately, and this giant widowmaker fell from somewhere way up there. And it fell onto this fence and broke it. It is still there because I have not yet purchased a chainsaw. So once I get a chainsaw, I can cut it out of there and maybe cut it up into firewood depending on how. And I'll probably have to replace these pieces of the fence because I do actually like the fence and I have a reason for there to be a fence here. Oh, hello, bird. I don't think you can see, probably. There's a little tufted titmouse in the tree right there. But this area, even more invasives. So you can see it's looking very, very sad because I have been treating this as well. This is Nandina. Nandina domesticata. It is invasive, highly invasive, and it has just spread to fill this whole area, and it's spreading. And you can see like the ones that I haven't treated, it's popping up because not only does it spread by seed, but it also spreads by underground runners. Thick, woody, tough underground runners that are awful. I literally strip skin off of my hand trying to pull them out. So that's when I started spraying them with the triclopyr because I just can't. I'm gonna come through once the weather cools down and like cut all of these, just get my pruning shears and cut all the stumps down close to the ground and paint the tops of the stumps with the triclopyr to try and get rid of them because I want to clear this area out of all of this vegetation. This was originally where they had their compost bins. So like you can see all the spilled compost right here and like a bunch of the assorted accoutrements with it. And they also have like a big stone pile. And a Rose of Sharon, which also has to go because that's also highly invasive here. So all of these bushes are going to be cut down. The stones are going to be, these bricks and stones are going to be repurposed into a fire pit. And this is going to be my fire pit area. So anyway, more of the woods. You can actually see we're getting closer to the edge of the property now. Maybe you can kind of sort of see a little bit of the driveway through the trees there. Just where the trees start to clear a little bit is the neighbor's driveway. And then coming back over here, this is the back side of the shed. You can see there's their little compost bin, which they left. So yay, I get to keep it. And I've been making use of it. There's also a lot more debris and stuff that needs to be figured out what we're going to do with. There's a pedestal for a bird bath, but no actual basin for it. So I don't know if I can get a replacement for that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The shed is really nice. Like, the doors definitely need to be replaced because they're a little like, I'll show you. They're just a little, you know, a little soft there, but not terrible. Here, I'm going to give you another panning shot from the other side of the lawn. That little thing in the middle there, I'm pretty sure that's a crepe myrtle. Oh, which is weird. I've never seen one in a shrub form before. I know that they have them in shrub forms now, but like I'd never actually seen it. So I'm kind of ambivalent as to whether I want to keep that or not. There's like a little stone circle bed around it, which is full of weeds right now because, but I at least pulled all the stilt grass out of there. What I'd really like to replace it with is a hawthorn, but I'm not 100% sure that I can do that because I need to find out the exact location of where the septic field is, because it's somewhere in that grass. Which is unfortunate because that's like the sunniest part of my yard and where I would like to grow vegetables. But if there's a septic field underneath there, I can't grow vegetables there. So this is another possibility over here for growing vegetables, which isn't too bad because it's not too far from the shed, so I would have access to my tools and stuff. But anyway, you can see there's some little shepherd's hooks that were left behind. This is where they had their riding mower. We do not have a riding mower. I wanted to get a riding mower, and my husband was like, why don't I just get like a self-propelled mower instead? And I'm like, I mean, whatever. He's the one who's doing the mowing, so I left it up to him. So we're coming around the side of the house. This is kind of like the northwest side over here. You can see there's all kinds of like just little brush piles and stuff that they left out in the woods, which is fine. They'll go away in time. Oh, look at that. Will you show up on camera? Sort of. Little spider web there. So, and then coming around to the front of the house, you can see that with the self-propelled mower, they've only mowed half the lawn. So, this was another area where I had some more tree of heaven, which I have treated, and now it is just dead sticks. You really have to, unfortunately, kind of use a herbicide on that stuff. But I just used the little paint it on. Basically took a machete and cut back some of the bark on the trunk and painted it onto the trunk to kill it off. Because if you don't do that, it will shoot up from runners and you will never get rid of it. It's like the hydra. You cut down one and you get two. So you can hear all the birds. So many wrens. There's so many wrens and so many dragonflies. This is the Aurelia spinosa. So you can see it not quite blooming, but it's getting ready to over here. And I can get in close without hurting myself. I'll show you where it gets its name. The devil's walking stick. Oh yeah. Right on this trunk here. Let me see if I can adjust this manually. Are you gonna focus? But anyway, there's just like rings of spines all over. Everywhere there's like a leaf, there's a ring of spines. Which is where it gets the name Devil's Walking Stick, because of course, yeah. So, you can hear the road there. It's not too bad. It's not a super busy road, thankfully. This little area is cool back here. There's a lot of ferns back here. Oh, I saw you. I saw you. Look it. Ah, there it goes. Where'd you go? There you are. Little toad. That was a little like orangey brown toad. That was cool. I hadn't seen one in that color before. So, this area here, this definitely needs to be dealt with. There's a lot of little baby trees that are competing in this little clearing where there used to be a tree that fell, which is normal and natural, but I might want to put something else in here. So I haven't decided yet. Right now it's just kind of a brushy mess. If I'm going to take some of these down, it's easier to do it when they're small. So we'll see. You can see right here, there's a post here where there was a bluebird house. I plan on getting a new one for the spring next year. You can see, there's the front of the house. I didn't show you the front of the house in my old house because people are weird on the internet, and none of my regular viewers, of course, but, you know, people are weird on the internet, and I did not want people tracking me down from the front of my house, you know, Google Street View. But you can't see this from the street. You can just kind of see a corner of the house, so I feel okay doing this. This is a thing that needs to go as well. Over here, you can see is a giant Bootlasia. So, another one that's invasive here in Virginia needs to go. Hey, dragonfly. But, yeah. It's like, and it's white too. Like, it's the most boring color of Bootlasia. What the, I don't know, whatever. It's gonna go. So, but there are some yews here, which was honestly, like, I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the big selling points. I was like, holy shit, this house has yews? Yes, sign me up. You never see yews around here, except around older houses and in cemeteries. So, yay, I have yews. This is what I was talking about when you see, look at all this empty space. They just filled with mulch. Like, ugh. So, I mean, there's some trees growing in there now that I definitely need to deal with once it cools down. This Lariape, I've been in the process. I did dig out a little bit. There was a bunch of it here in the corner that I dug out when I planted my rosemary, because I had to have rosemary by my front door. So, but yeah, lots of yews. This stuff, this is Aurelia. This one's not, it's not invasive, at least, even if it's not native. But like, there's nothing else. It's just shrubs and mulch and Lariape, and I'm like, ew, gross. I know she probably had a bunch of other stuff. My plan is to put a bunch of like native flowers, you know, Rudbeckias and probably some Monarda, Jacob Klein Monarda. Nice red pop in there. So, but yeah, this is the other side of that little area. You can see there's more ferns in there. I have so many ferns. I'm so excited about them. Mostly lady ferns. I have some bracken fern at the old house that I'm gonna dig up a piece and bring out and introduce into the woods. That's another native. Here's one of the azaleas. They came out and they just like lopped the top off of it. This probably was a lot taller, but whatever. And you can see there's a little bit of the road that we can actually see. For some reason, so the house is kind of built on like the south side of the property, so like all of those woods back there, like it's a whole big chunk wedge between the road and our neighbor's driveway, which is mostly just wild and untamed. That's all ours. So 3.75 acres, this property. So you can see my driveway. I get a nice little walk every day when I go down to check my mail. We got, look at, I love this. Look at just this huge mat of moss growing on the trees. It's just great. So lots of little opportunistic guys in here, including you, motherfucker. That's another one. That's one of the few ones that I will spray. That's poison ivy. So I'll have to come out in a little bit and tend to that. There's another one out there too, I can see. Oh, there's several of them actually, now that I'm looking closer. So, yep, that's going to have to be dealt with. And you can see, it's one of our wells. There's the other well back there. We have two wells, because one is for the house and one is for our sprinkler system, which I haven't even used yet because it's been so goddamn wet. So, anyway, I'm trying not to show you my car. I don't want y'all to see my license plate, but we're kind of coming back around to where we were, you know. So here's our other neighbor and our driveway. We have a nice little like loop at the end of our driveway, so we can do a turnaround. We don't have to do backing in and out. But we're thinking about putting like this little empty space right here. We'd like to put a carport there, so that we can have our cars sheltered from branches and crap that falls, because that is a regular thing here. But also just so that we can get our cars out of the way, you know, because the delivery trucks, they come in and they got to turn around in this loop, and sometimes if they're in a bigger truck, there's not enough room for them with our cars parked in there. So if we get our cars off to the side, then the delivery trucks have a better better ability to turn around. And also, like, if I were to host a big Sabbath and have the community here, a lot more people could park in my driveway if I'm parked off to the side. So, and yeah, we're pretty much right back where we started here, back at the gate. So yeah, this is what I've got to work with. There is a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. And unfortunately, it's just too damn hot right now to do anything. I'm filming this in the morning because it's only about 89 degrees right now, which for those of you who use metric, that's 31 centigrade. But the heat index, I think, is about 95 right now, which is 33. The forecast for later today is it's going to be in the 90s, and I think the heat index is about 105 or so. Heat index has been 105 plus for like the past week. And the humidity is, so it is just damp. That's the only way I can describe it. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go in before it gets any hotter. So expect another video around Mabon, the autumn equinox. And I'll talk about some of the new plants that maybe I've moved in by then. So I hope this video finds you well, and I will see you again soon.